This will be a brief demonstration of the Forest Manufacturing Model 2054 vertical blade traveling table bandsaw. I do have other videos discussing this machine. Most of those have power table drive and other features. This machine is quite large, but otherwise fairly simple as far as the features. This does not have a powered traveling table. It has a manual traverse traveling table. But for the customer's application, that's what they need. That's what they get. So the basics, again, have a vertical blade, large traveling table with a manual traverse. So the idea is the operator will set a workpiece on the table, turn the saw on, and then push the table to make the cut. I like to do things this way because you know you're getting a straight cut, and the operator doesn't have to be anywhere near the blade while making the cut, so safe. It is also possible though to remove the operator guard, use the table as a fixed table, and just slide a workpiece across the table. There are legitimate reasons for doing that, but first preference is to put the workpiece on the table and travel the table to make the cut. More details about the saw itself. The Model 2054 is built with 20-inch diameter blade wheels. It can easily carry up to a 1-inch wide blade, in some cases larger blades. All the 2054s have pneumatic blade tensioning, so instead of a standard common screw over spring blade tensioning mechanism, this uses an air cylinder controlled by a pressure regulator and a air control valve. So changing blades is easy as flipping a switch and then setting the correct pressure. You set the pressure regulator once and you never have to mess with it again. No more either using a blade tension gauge or just thumping the string and saying that sounds about right. Now you know you're getting a correct blade tension. This machine has a 2 horsepower, 3-phase blade drive motor. Again, for the application, that's plenty. Motor starter, I've got a magnetic motor starter with overload mount here in the saw's vertical column. It is a large table. This machine will get a fence. We don't mount the fence until after we paint everything, otherwise we scratch it up. The fence face is aluminum, and we mount it up after everything else is painted, otherwise we're going to scratch our paint. But it will have what we call a fence throat. That is the maximum distance from the blade over to the fence when it's moved all the way left, of about 49 inches to clear a 40-inch workpiece. I think we've got 60 inches of table to ride the blade, and it's either 11 foot or 12 foot of table traveler, what I also call stroke. So they're cutting a nominal 10-foot long workpiece, so we give them table travel in excess of the length of the workpiece, such that they have a little over travel on both ends. This machine will be cutting a resilient material, like a squishy type foam. I don't have any around. What I do happen to have those is big block of insulation foam over here. This is about a 2 pound per cubic foot material. Normally I would cut this, I would just jump right up to a 5 horsepower motor, but I believe this is going to cut just fine with a 2 horsepower motor. We have a 1-inch wide hook 2 style blade, 3 teeth per inch. Should just blast clean through this nice and easy. So I'll do a quick demonstration cut for you. Start the saw. No trouble at all. Quick note, the drive motor on this machine is a brake motor. So when I hit the stop button, the blade stops now. No quietly spinning down to take your finger off. So there it is. That is a relatively basic but large Model 2054. One other quick note worth thinking. On the theme of large, this thing's quite tall. We can ship them at full height, but that'll take at least a flatbed, and in some cases a drop deck or double drop deck flatbed, expensive. So this machine includes a flange here. The idea is unbolt this flange, and there are pin connections in here. So unbolt this flange, you can lift the top half of the machine off, and your shipping height comes down to this. So all of a sudden your shipping costs become reasonable. Come time to reassemble it, you've got 4 bullet nose pins here. So you put the top of the saw back on, and you know it's going back in the correct spot. Other than that, setup's pretty easy. The head and the saw, except for removing the top, is all assembled. We do take down the table and the rails, but for reassembly, we just stamp, match mark the rails to their positions. A goes to A, B goes to B, C goes to C, and such. If you have any questions or like to discuss a specific application or a large bandsaw, please feel free to call or email us here at Forest Manufacturing. Thank you and have a good day.